friends, this is Saloon Bunny and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I decided to share some of my dip pens with you guys, some of my favorite dip pens that I use on a regular. And I've already done a video of this, I think last year, but I wanted to do an updated version. This is a makeup brush pouch which I use to organize my dip pens because they also fit and I don't have that much makeup brushes, so I just use it for my dip pens instead. So one of the main reasons why I love using dip pens is that dip pens let you change inks instantly without worrying about the internal mechanisms to maintain, like nib feed, piston, or ink reservoir of fountain pens. So that means less chance of clogging and way less cleaning effort. And also, dip pens are a great way to use shimmer inks if you don't really want to use shimmer inks on your fountain pens because it might um, be a little more hassle to clean compared to standard inks. So it's also a great way for ink swatching, of course, and testing different papers without committing to a full pen. And of course, they offer more line variation for sketching and drawing and for more expressive lines in general for different kinds of artwork. First, let's explore my glass pens. So right now I have a total of 4 glass pens. They're really elegant and functional at the same time. They have spiral grooves which hold a surprising amount of ink and they're perfect for switching colors easily. So I love using them not only for ink swatching but also if I want to write some quick notes, and I especially use them for my shimmer inks because they're easier to clean as compared to my other dip pens. For writing samples, I'm going to be using my Colorverse inks in Alpha Ari and Taepyeong Songdae. And now let's move on to my favorite dip pens. And these are the Kakimori Nibs. And I use them a lot. I use them for ink swatching, for writing, for drawing. And I have the brass nib and the steel nib. And I use these holders for them, the Tachikawa nib holder. And also, I have this Kakimori cherry wood holder. I noticed that whenever I use the Kakimori brass nib, it's softer on paper and it puts down a broader line and it's much more smooth compared to the steel nib. So there's a tactile feedback which is obvious, but it's not as dragging or scratchy on paper as the steel nib. So the Kakimori nibs are bullet shaped, Nibs, which has linear grooves that acts as ink reservoir, and they carry a significant amount of ink that you could write or draw for a long time before having the need to re-ink or dip the pen again. I also noticed that brass nib offers more expressive lines, so I would recommend it if you want to draw or do some doodles or sketching. As for the steel nib, it has similar design but with finer line output, and I think it's my personal choice for more controlled writing or sketching. Um, Whenever I use it, it has more drag on paper than the Kakimori brass nib. So brass nib feels soft and bouncy on paper, while the steel nib feels not entirely scratchy, but slightly scratchy and more drag on the paper. So both nibs are very easy to clean, and it's perfect for switching the inks mid-session without hassle. So it's really my favorite and most used among my dip pens or dip nibs. Now onto my Sailor Hocoro nibs, and these are the fun and versatile Sailor Hocoro dip pens. So I have 1 millimeter stub nib and also a fude nib. So the fude nib comes with the feed, which offers larger ink reservoir, and the 1 millimeter nib doesn't come with feed, but I bought it separately and installed it so that um, it could carry more inks. So this is the fude nib with its bent tip. So it's a little weird for some, but I really love it. Um, it offers line variation just by tilting the nib angle. So it's perfect for expressive sketching and even brush script lettering. And now, if you really want clean lines and clean letters, I highly recommend the Pilot Iro-utsushi dip pens. Although they don't carry a lot of inks and you have to redip them frequently, more frequently than the others, I still highly recommend them for their reliability, and they really create clean lines, whether it's medium or fine nibs. So I'll show you later with my writing samples. And I think it's worth mentioning that the nibs that they use on their Pilot Iro-utsushi are the same nibs that they use on their Pilot Kakuno and Pilot Prera. So they're really smooth and they really create clean and crisp lines. If you have reached this part of the video, thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you give this video a like and subscribe to support my channel. Which among the dip pens that I have shared is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Also, please share what dip pens do you usually use or which ones are your favorite as well. Again, this is Laloon Bunny. Have a creative and happy day. Bye!